Good morning, students. Today I am going to discuss soft skills for business, unit number 1, session number 12, third semester BBA, Bangalore University. Unit number 1, elements of communication. In this topic, I will be discussing today the subtopic barriers to effective communication. Let us have the recap of last class. In the last class, we had a discussion on listening, meaning of listening, types of listening, then the steps in cognitive listening process, qualities of a good listener, basic concept of observation, techniques of observation, and basic concept of elicit response, techniques of elicit response. Today, I will be discussing about the one more important topic for the examination point of view, that is barriers to effective communication. Dear students, barriers means problems or obstacles or faults that prevent the message from reaching the intended recipient. Barrier means the problem which causes one damage. What is the damage? Actual message will not reach to the recipient. Actual message will not reach to the receiver properly. That problem or the obstacles or the faults which prevents the passage of message, transmission of message from the sender to the receiver, all such obstacles or problems or barriers or faults are regarded as barriers to effective communication. These barriers may be in the whole system itself, which prevent the message from reaching. Some of these barriers are in the mechanical devices used for transmitting the message from the sender to the receiver, that is the barriers or the defects in the medium. There may be some barriers due to the noise or distraction. It could be the psychological, it could be visual, or it could be a physical noise. It can also cause a damage. It can also cause or prevent the movement of message or communication smoothly from the sender to the receiver. Some of the barriers may be due to the symbols or languages used for coding and decoding. Some may be due to the nature of persons. But as a whole, in the whole system, in the whole working organization, the intended communication will not transfer, will not be transmitted due to such type of problems or obstacles or faults, maybe in the system or maybe in the devices or maybe in the persons who are engaged in the communication process. So let us discuss what are these types of barriers. There are different types of barriers. For our clear understanding, we have divided barriers into the semantic barriers, the physical barriers, then the organizational barriers, and the psychological barriers. Among all these barriers, again we have subcategorized each barrier for our better understanding, so that we can understand it properly, learn properly, and when we are into the working environment, we can adopt the preventive measures of such barriers to avoid barriers in our actual working place. So let us first discuss which is the first barrier, semantic barrier. These barriers are concerned with the problems and obstacles in the process of encoding and decoding the message into words or other impressions. These problems are related to encoding and decoding the message. These problems are related to sending the message and receiving the message, sending the message after understanding it in one way, receiving the message and understanding it in another way. It is again caused due to different backgrounds, different problems. Let us see what will be the problem in coding and encoding of the messages. Where lies the problem? In semantic barriers, again we have classified some of the subcategories of barriers to make our understanding comfortable, easy, and learn more about this. The first one is different languages. Dear students, in organizations, different people speak different languages. People with different language backgrounds, the people with the different communication skills with different languages exist. In organizations, we do not have a common language. When we see the real culture of the organization, there is no common language that can be understood by all. In fact, these days English communication is used at large, but in some of the organizations where the effective communication is absent, in such places there is a problem with a semantic barrier, in that we have a problem with different languages. When people speak different languages, it gives different meaning. Therefore, this is obvious barrier when there is no common vehicle or common language. When there is no common vehicle to convey a message, when there is no common language to convey a message, there arises a problem of effective communication. The communication will not be understood as it is conveyed, or it will not be conveyed in such a way that everybody can understand it. Then different context for words and symbols. Dear students, the meaning of words are not in the words, they are in us. Actually, when we say that give me a water to drink, give me water to drink, here water means glass of water. Look at the context of words. When we say that the water dispute of Punjab and Haryana, here the water means river dispute. Here the water means the water of the river which has a dispute between two states. There is a difference between the context of words being used. In this situation also, we may have a dispute, we may have a improper understanding of communication. There arises a barrier, there arises a it prevents actually the transmission of proper information or proper message from the speaker to the listener, or from the sender to the receiver. Poor vocabulary, it hinders the communicator to communicate actually orally or verbally. When we see the person with the poor vocabulary, they cannot make use of more words. If they do not know more words, if they do not explain it in a better way by using of different words, then also the right way, the right message cannot be conveyed properly. See, it hinders the communicator to convey through written or verbal messages. Here what happens is, the communicator, if the inappropriate and inadequate words are used, if the proper words are not used in the proper sense at the proper time, at that time also, due to lack of vocabulary, due to lack of words, communication cannot be reached to the intended audience, reached to the intended recipient. These are the semantic barriers. Now we have got the physical barriers. These are the problems, obstacles or faults that prevent a message from reaching the intended recipient, may be outside and beyond the control of a person concerned. Some can be controlled by the management, some cannot be controlled by the management because they are in the environment. Some of the physical barriers are, see, some are controllable and some are uncontrollable. Some barriers may be internal, some barriers may be external. So these barriers prevent the actual transmission of the messages from the sender to the receiver in a proper way. What are these physical barriers? Let us discuss one by one. Noise. See, if any disturbance or interference that reduces the clarity and effectiveness of communication, for such thing we call noise. if there is noise, if there is no order, absence of order. So clearly we cannot convey any message to the recipient, intended recipient. See, noises can be of many things. Due to noise, we cannot hear clearly. There is no clarity. If the presence of noise is there, there will not be any clarity. There are so many types of noises. For example, I will give you the example of psychological noise. If somebody has written some words or text or typed some text with errors, it irritates the reader. Psychologically, the reader gets disturbed. So these are the examples of psychological noise. Some noise may be physical in nature, where huge sound will be there, wherein the communicator and communicatee may not be able to transmit or receive the information properly due to sound or noise pollution. Sometimes there will be a visual noise. Suppose, for example, if some subordinate arrives the job or arrives to the workplace little late, or you can call it as late, the superior sees them in a different way. The visual noise arises there in that situation. So we can have physical noise, mental noise or psychological noise, or we can have the visual noise. All these things will distract both the sender or receiver of the message. They will not allow these people to understand, and they will not be able to unify their mind, unify their hearts. Then is improper time. Among physical barriers, improper time also a important point, which affects important aspect, which affects the free flow of communication from the communicator and the communicatee. I will give one small example to you. If somebody orders, if some superior orders the subordinate to get the work done at the closing hour, if the superior asks the subordinate to get the work done, close the work, okay, urgently, it causes actually irritation among workers. It is improper time because it is a closure time. If somebody makes a call in the midnight for communication of something which is not important at all, if somebody is making a call to communicate some information in the midnight, actually that transmission of information is not at all important. In such a case, the receiver will get disturbance, the receiver will get distracted. The communication may not be fulfilled actually in a very effective way. Then comes the distance. Sometimes in a long distance, the receiver may not receive as if the sender is trying to send the message. Here what happens is the sender need to speak loudly. This causes again a problem. The distance between the sender and receiver act as a barrier in communication process, as the sender has to speak loudly. For how many hours long or for how many minutes long one person can speak loudly? That is a question. So distance between the communicator and communicatee also matters. No doubt, if the communicator and communicatee make use of ICT tools, intercom facilities or telephone facilities for sending and receiving of the messages, it will solve this problem. But anyhow, this problem exists in most of the organizations. Then inadequate or overloaded information. Actually, for clear understanding, information should be adequate. Information should be only that much which is required. We should not either increase or decrease the information, neither less than the desired one or more than the wanted one. So if it is not so, it fails to serve the purpose of communication. Therefore, inadequate or overloaded information sometimes breaks the bridge between the communicator and the communicatee. Let us discuss the next one, organizational barriers. Dear students, organizational barriers are the barriers which arises within the organizations due to its policies and procedures. The policies and procedures may be rules and regulations. If the rules and regulations of the organizations are not are very strict, or the upward and downward communication is not feasible, at that time this will causes communication gap. If the downward communication takes more time, or the upward communication is not responsive, in both the cases the work will not be executed effectively, and the communication will not be effectively executed, and the communication will be affected by that very badly. Therefore, organizational barriers in the organization are due to these following things, which can prevent the free flow of communication between the sender and the receiver. Organization rules and regulations. Rigid rules, strict rules and regulations relating to communication causes delay of the message and discouragement to the employees in conveying their creative and innovative ideas. See, if there is a delay in passing of message due to the strict rules of the organization, at that time the workers may not be able to properly do their work. They will not be able to properly apply their creativity. So they will have to wait till they get the orders, till they get the communication from the top level authorities. So if there is a delay in the organization in the passing of information from one authority to another authority, at that time also communication may not be effective. Then non-conducting of staff meetings. Usually in the organizations, within the organization, meetings are conducted to update the information, to inform the employees about the new policies or procedures or new methods of production or sales or implementation of new laws. If that is not conducted immediately, if it is implemented, at that time also there will be a chance of lack of free flow of communication, interruption of free flow of communication in the organization, which causes loss and disturbance to the workers. Then wrong choice of channel. If the wrong type of communication is selected for the right work, if the wrong choice of channel is selected for the right work, here also the communication is affected. How? See, if the channel to convey the message is okay, if we say orally a word to the superiors or subordinates, the work can be done by that. We have to make use of that only. Instead of that, writing a circular, putting the signatures, conducting the meeting for small things, if that is the case, it will actually prevent the effective communication. If for the passing of some important information to large number of employees working in an organization, instead of using ICT tools, if somebody uses the tools like sending the circular, all that in paper written work, it will also interrupt the effective communication. If the channels are readily available, if one can make use of these channels effectively, then we have to make use of these channels for that particular purpose. Conducting of online meetings, conveying the messages through telephone, conveying the messages through emails. Today it is the trend. After the revolution in the field of ICT, today it is the actually revolution. So depending upon the situation, based on the situation, the company need to adopt the choice of channel or medium to be used for conveying the message. If that channel is wrong, if that particular channel selected is wrong, then at that time the communication is affected. There will not be a free flow of communication. there will be a problem between the sender and the receiver of the message. Then hierarchical relationship. Actually, it restricts the free flow of communication, especially in upward direction. Upward direction actually happens from the workers to the superiors. Downward communication, there will not be any problem. If any instructions are there, if any guidelines are there, if anything to be communicated, if any circulars are to be communicated, the downward communication flows very easily from top level management to the low level management. But if the hierarchical relationship setup is such that the workers in the lower level, they need to give their request, they need to ask for their rights, something like that. If that takes more time, if that hierarchical relationship is there and it is followed, adhered to in an organization very strictly, there also the presence of effective communication is lacking. The presence of effective communication cannot be expected, because most of the time what happens is, due to fear or due to hierarchical complex, the people in the lower level, they may not, they feel sometimes they feel very fearful to communicate with the top level authorities. Even to ask their rights, they feel very shy, sometimes they feel fearful. So these are some of the organizational barriers which restricts or which prevents the free flow of communication. Then comes the psychological barriers. These are the barriers which arises due to the psychological setup, psychological background of a person. These barriers arises from motives, emotions, social values, different perceptions, etc. a person has about something. These create psychological distance, causes misunderstanding among people at work, and hinders the communication process. So it is completely psychological, it is completely mental, it is completely cognitive, wherein people have different motives, people have different interests, people have different emotions towards different things, people have different social values towards different things. So in such cases, the communication cannot flow freely. Dear students, in this we have some of the psychological barriers as selective perceptions. See, we select few symbols based upon the needs, motives, experience and background. Usually what happens is, the selective perception in the organization can be there among all the employees or among few employees. Usually what happens is, we all have different way of understanding a particular concept, and we do express, we do convey it in a different way. See, the perception, the way we understand it, the way we have experienced it, and the way we have seen it in our life may be different from other person. So the perceptions of one person may be different. What do you mean by perception? Perception is how you conceive a message and how you convey it afterwards, how you understand it and how you interpret it. So sometimes what happens, due to our experience, due to our background, we have got some selective perceptions, we have got some selective conceiving of some ideas or giving opinion about ideas. These reserve-mindedness will prevent the free flow of communication in the organization, and open-mindedness and will not be there. Then there will not be a chance of what you call as exploitation of new ideas or innovation of new ideas, or creativity will not be there, or there will not be a proper communication between the person of one perception with the person of other perception. So premature evaluation is the second psychological barrier. Usually we do not listen or read the whole, but try to the whole life or the whole message, but try to give inference from certain part of the message and draw conclusion. That is the problem with us. That is why we cannot judge a person by his or her dress. We cannot judge a person by his or her external appearance. We cannot judge a particular whole process with just one message or with just some symbol. sometimes psychologically, what happens, if clouds are there on the sky, people immediately make a judgment that today there will be a rainfall. We do not know whether today there will be a rainfall or there might be only light showering or there might be no rainfall. Coming to the judgment will again cause the problem in free flow of communication, that is evaluating or judging something very early. Then the third one is different comprehension of reality. See, actually what happens is reality is not absolute concept, it is relative to different persons. Sometimes some of the realities are very relative to all of us. Sometimes what happens is when the realities are different and the comprehension of its understanding is different among different people, at that time also there is a chance of misunderstanding. Reality is something, people are understanding it in another way, there is a chance of misunderstanding. Therefore, this will prevent free flow of communication. Attitude of superiors. Sometimes there will be a what is called as bossism in the departments or organizations. Superiors are sometimes they have the stigma or what is called as they have the stigma or they have the complex of delegating their authority, lack confidence in themselves or their subordinates, or sometimes they may feel that the subordinates may actually what is called as they may work better than them, and by that they may defame them. In such a way, the attitude of superiors will be in such a way that they will not delegate the authority or they will not give the responsibility to others. So here attitude of superiors matters. It is a natural phenomena that it is a fact that if some superior is going out of the station, if the superior is on leave, so it is natural that they need to delegate that responsibility to their subordinates. Sometimes what happens is this the superiors will not do so. Why? They have the fear in their mind. The fear may be of two ways. One fear is such that the subordinates may commit any mistake, or the subordinates may they lack confidence in their subordinates. Sometimes they lack confidence in themselves. So sometimes more over bossism. This will also cause what is called as a lack of free flow of communication between the messenger, the sender of the message as well as the receiver of the message. Then attitude of the subordinates. Attitude of the subordinates is like their inferiority complex, unwillingness to share the information, and fear of action. Actually, all these factors prevent the free flow of communication. When they have the inferiority complex in themselves, they do not believe themselves, okay, then they are not willing to share the information with either the superior or fellow colleagues. At that time there will be lack of free flow of communication. When they are fear of action, they may have the fear that if I execute a particular work in the absence of somebody, if that work is not done properly, I may be held responsible or I may be given punishment. Thinking this, they will not move forward, and they will stop working or they will stop taking initiatives. This will prevent the free flow of communication. Then comes poor listening. So in the listening part, in the listening unit, or in this unit only, we have discussed a lot more about listening. So if improper listening is there from the listener side, at that time free flow of communication is not possible. So there are so many causes for improper listening, so that we have already discussed. Some persons do not listen attentively, whereas some persons listen selectively. So some are in full attention, and some only they select something and they listen only to that interested part, whatever they are desired, whatever they are wanted. And some people, they simply pretend as if they are listening, but they are actually not listening. Therefore listening is another important issue in free flow of communication. If listening is proper, then the communication will be effectively transmitted from the sender to the receiver. If it is not proper, then the communication may have lots of confusions, lots of doubts, lots of clarifications to be made, and that takes away the time of both the workers in the organization, maybe in the hierarchical setup or maybe in any other setup. Then egoism is another important aspect which is going to hit very badly for free flow of communication. They are taking a prestige, okay, esteem, ostapel, okay. There are some people who are self-centered persons. They think that their own ideas are more important than the ideas of others. We are right and others are all wrong. So these types of mental setup is a hindrance for effective communication. Then emotions, negative emotions such as hatred, anger, anxiety, it avoids the free flow of communication. When we are angry, when we are in the what is called as when we are having hatredness in our mind, or when we are very anxious about something, in all these cases, when we are very happy or when we are very sad, in all these astonishing situations, we cannot freely communicate with others. Okay, we cannot freely pass our message to others. One person may be passing the message who is not having these types of stigmas or these types of problems, but the person who is receiving may have this problem. It can be either of this way. The sender of the message may have all these problems, the receiver may not have all these problems. So in both the situations, the free flow of communication will lag behind. Therefore, to make communication effective, one person after learning all these things should know how to correct themselves, okay, in a semantic atmosphere, in a physical atmosphere, in a psychological atmosphere, or in a other organizational atmosphere. How one can correct himself or herself matters. So therefore, dear students, today I am just winding up this class saying that today we have discussed about the barriers to communication, the various types of barriers which arises in the organization, and why we are studying these barriers with a futuristic approach. We study these barriers to know how best, in what best way we can overcome these barriers in future when we are going exactly in the workplace. When we see such type of barriers, how to solve them. So for this, kindly go through the study material given, and also refer to the study materials which is relating to barriers to effective communication, and how to overcome such barriers with other study materials also. Try to solve the MCQ questions. If you do not understand any question, you feel free to call me and get it clarified. Thank you very much for watching, and I am going to discuss another topic in the next class. Thank you very much, and stay home, stay safe. Thank you.